Okay, so I'm joined in the studio by my very dear friend and wonderful colleague, Rik Scott. It's so good to have you here. When I decided to do this talk show and I was thinking about who do I know, who do I want to have as a guest, I immediately knew I wanted to speak to you because not only are you a familiar voice on Ashdown Radio, but you are a complete and total radio legend in this country.
Thank you for inviting me, first of all, because it's a lovely studio we're in. Thank you. And thank you for bigging me up like that, because I don't believe you for 1 minute. But yeah, it's lovely to be here. Thank you very much indeed, Boo.
No, you're welcome. So Rik, I really want to take our listeners back a little bit. Everyone knows your voice. Everyone is very familiar with the name of Rik Scott. But I mean, you've been in radio forever. I want you to take me back to the very beginning, to where it all started.
Okay, so funnily enough, it is actually the 40th year that I've been in radio.
That's
which
incredible.
Is really scary. Yes, 1986, 15-year-old me wrote to Radio Sussex, as it was then, in Guildridge Road in Eastbourne.
Yeah.
They had their Eastbourne studio.
Uh-huh.
And I got work experience.
Now I'm assuming that you wrote to them because you were living in Eastbourne. You grew up in Eastbourne with your mum and dad and brother.
Yeah. We were living in Helsham.
Okay.
And there'd been talk at school about you need to sort of start thinking about what you're going to do when you leave school, and you need to sort of. The onus really was on the student to get the work experience, rather than now, where I think it's more of a case of, we'll put you where we'll team up with a company or whatever. So I just thought, well, it's got to be radio. I'm not doing anything else. So yeah, David R. Scott was which is ironic when you think his name is spelled ARSCOTT.
Yeah.
R. Scott, and then obviously my name is R. Scott. I know it takes a while to get to that, but for me that makes perfect sense. And yes, and so I spent a week during the summer holidays going out and doing interviews.
Yeah.
Interviewing the students on the beach, in Eastbourne, and sitting in and watching them do their shows. And the main studio was in Brighton, but they'd have guests. So the presenter would be in Brighton, and they'd have guests coming into the Eastbourne studio. And so they had a little sofa in front of the window.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and watched the people. And one particular guest, he was the doctor.
Okay.
So they're having a medical phone in, and you'll have to take this bit out, but the or perhaps not. So
keep it clean.
15-year-old me is sat there, and a woman rings up about vaginal wind.
Oh God.
And I just see that the doctor just collapsed. He was laughing his head off in the studio, and that's what I remember from my week's work experience.
And you immediately thought, that's it. It's a life in radio for me.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. So, and then by doing that in the summer, my dad knew someone who did hospital radio at the DGH in Eastbourne, did a country music show. And, Dad said to him, my son's really interested. Could he come down? And, so that was it. So I ended up producing the country music show.
It's so interesting because I think, I've got two sons, as you know, and so many kids today have this thing of, I want to be an influencer. I want to have a YouTube channel, etc.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, those things didn't exist. I mean, even 25 years ago, they didn't exist. But I remember, for me, that radio bug biting very, very young. So it's fascinating for me to hear that it was the same for you.
Oh, totally.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it bit when I was 10. Dad had bought home a cassette recorder, and that was it. And the jingles always did it for me. So I'm not really bothered about being a presenter.
Right.
I've always loved the bits that go between the records.
Isn't it interesting? Because
yeah.
for me, it was about the talking. For
Right.
me, it was access to interviewing interesting people like you and scratching your brain and, you know, pulling out whatever information I could there. Okay, so let's move forward from there. So 15-year-old Rik gets this opportunity with a bit of hospital radio and producing the country music show, etc. At what point did you decide to, you know, pack your Dick Whittington stick and head up to London?
So yeah, London came at 18. I'd been doing hospital radio for 3 years and did the sports show. I did the chart show. Had my own little show on a Friday night.
Brilliant.
And Mum saw an advert in the Eastbourne Herald for someone to produce. They were looking for a tape recorder person at a Christian ministry, which is just behind Debenhams, where Debenhams was in Eastbourne, on Lismore Road. And so I got a part-time job there because I wasn't academic, but I was doing college and, you know. And so that lasted for 6 months, but it gave me a place to record demos.
Brilliant.
So,
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I recorded a demo, and then one night I was catching the bus home to Helsham from Terminus Road, and Tandy had a shop on Terminus Road in Eastbourne. And Tandy, for you, just in case you don't know, being South African,
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Tandy was Realistic / Radio Shack.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So they did computers and radios, loads of different radios. And I knew a guy who worked there, and he ran a pirate radio station in Eastbourne. And he said, "Oh, my friend's looking for a DJ in London." And I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." So I sent 3 demos.
Yeah.
One to the Virgin Megastore on Oxford Street, one to Radio Top Shop on Oxford Circus, and the other to Radio HMV. And I got the gig at HMV.
Wow.
As an 18-year-old.
And I mean, okay, so when are we talking about? This is now 1989.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the period of probably the coolest music of the last 100 years really came out in the 1980s. Like, let's not kid each other. Even my kids come to me and say, I'll hear them singing a song, and I'm like, do you even know what that song is? and they don't, but they know it's a cool song.
Yeah.
And they're always shocked when I reveal to them that it's a track from the 80s, because they usually are.
Yeah.
There's something just so timeless about that music.
That's right.
So you land a gig at HMV, the coolest record store on the planet, Oxford Street, and you're 18 years old.
Yeah.
The girls must have been going crazy.
No. Come on, fit. Yeah, but it was wonderful. I was commuting up to London every day from Eastbourne, and looking back on it now, it's just amazing. I mean, you know, a weekly ticket to London Victoria was only 50 quid.
Wow.
And Mum and Dad wanted some rent, but other than that, you know, it was great.
Incredible.
Yeah, and I got to work with some really experienced and excellent presenters.
Yeah.
We had 3 points of broadcast there. We had 363 Oxford Street was the world's most famous music store, and that's the one that is still there. It's shut down for a while, but they've returned.
Right.
So that had a radio studio, so you did 3 hours there. And then at 150 Oxford Street, which was the world's biggest record store, you had 2 things going on. You had the Radio HMV, which was in a big goldfish bowl in the middle of the ground floor.
Right.
And then upstairs on the first floor was the world's biggest video zone.
Right.
So that was a 25 screen video wall with a studio next to it
Incredible.
where you did vision mixing and sound mixing and talking about videos and playing clips from videos.
I mean, it's just, for a young guy like you, interested in music, interested in radio, I mean, that's the world's greatest education right there. Like,
absolutely.
there is no university that could have given you that.
No. None whatsoever. And of course, all the celebs were coming in to, we had Tina Turner come in to do a live set. You name it. They all came in. And of course, they all came in as well as private citizens.
Yeah.
You often see celebrities walking around
Shopping
in the shop,
for music.
just shopping for music. Yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to actually play one of your favorite songs. So how about you intro it for us right now?
Well, the piano intro on this is amazing. The flanging in the middle is incredible. And it's Tears for Fears and Head Over Heels.
Tears for Fears there, Head Over Heels. We're going to head into an ad break in just a moment. But before we do, Rik, just tell me, what does that song mean to you? Just tell me a little bit about why it's your favorite.
I always loved Tears for Fears. They were really part of my youth. And actually, Sowing the Seeds of Love came out just as I got that job at HMV. And I remember it was probably one of the last editions of Smash Hits that I ever bought because we sold it at HMV. And seeing them on the cover when they came back for Sowing the Seeds of Love. But that particular song, it's so complex, and the production in it, and Roland Orzabal's singing as well, just literally hair stand up on the back of my neck every time I hear that song.
Literally head over heels.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Okay. My guest in the studio this evening, Rik Scott. He is an absolute radio legend and icon, particularly here in the south of England. You know him, of course, as one of the voices on Ashdown Radio as well. He does the chart show, and we're going to be back in just a moment. Okay, so welcome back. My guest in the studio this evening, Rik Scott. Not only one of my favourite colleagues and a dear, dear friend, but also just an absolute radio legend here in England. And Rik, you've worked for a very wide range of different radio stations. And I know you and I were at a networking event some months ago, and the second this lady that we'd met realized what your name was, because she kept going like, you seem so familiar, and then I was like, well, yeah, of course he's familiar, he's Rik Scott. And she just went absolutely crazy and wanted her photo taken with you and asked you to autograph her business card. And
I paid her afterwards just to impress you. I've never met the woman before in my life.
But I mean, it's true though, like you are the voice kind of soundtrack to so many people's youth in this country.
Oh, God.
Have you ever sat down and figured out how many radio stations you've actually worked for? I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, I divide it into two categories.
Okay.
There's the being a presenter on the radio stations, and then there's the being the voiceover and the voice of.
Yes, the imaging voice. Yeah.
So as far as I can reel off the ones I was a DJ at, so we'll start with Radio HMV.
Yeah.
Then I went to Chiltern Radio in Milton Keynes, and then got promoted down to Galaxy in Bristol. Stayed there for a couple of years, then went to a station called 603 in Cheltenham, and then a couple of years there, then to 1170 in High Wycombe, where we're at now 5. Then Invicta in Kent, then Southern FM, then Power FM, then KMFM, and then the media sound stations around here. So what was then Sovereign, Arrow, Splash and Bright and Isle of Wight Radio, and that's now More Radio. So yeah, those are my last. That was the last one.
I think you ran out of fingers.
Yeah, I think
as
so.
you were counting, and then on top of that, the imaging voice of many stations.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. That goes into hundreds.
Wow.
I've got no idea.
That is extraordinary. And currently, you are also. I mean, I know that you are the male counterpoint to Dawn French's female voice as the station imaging voice for Greatest Hits FM.
Yeah. Greatest Hits Radio is the station. Yeah, that's a Bauer station, and that's nationwide. And also, so that's England, Scotland, and Wales, and also in Northern Ireland as well.
I want you to just give me a little bit of a view, your thoughts. There are so many people out there listening right now going, how on earth do you become a voice artist? How do you become that anonymous voice in the background? What do you think the route is? What do you think you would tell people?
Yeah, there are many routes. Or at least there were.
Yeah.
Mine was purely as a radio person.
Yeah.
Getting asked. I remember the first time I got asked by someone I didn't know, and that's where I start my career as a voiceover.
Right.
And it was for. Even though I worked for the group, I didn't know the person who contacted me. So I was at Galaxy in Bristol.
Yeah.
It was 1993, and the head of news, a guy called Richard Franklin at Seven Sound, which were based in Gloucestershire, they did a news programme on their AM station. So there was Seven Sound on FM and there was Seven Sound Super Gold on AM.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a 15-minute news programme, and he got in touch and asked me to just do some little voiceovers for it. And as I said, I've never been asked to do that before.
And were you kind of astonished that someone
Yeah.
had just sort of heard you and thought,
Yeah.
I like that voice. Yeah, I actually want to use that voice.
That's right. I was. I was like, oh, okay. Well, that sounds like fun. And I had some tapes that I'd listened to of American radio stations.
Right.
And there was a way that this particular... He wasn't even a voice artist. He was a DJ. Actually, no, sorry. Take that back. He was a newsreader. And the way he delivered this particular way of saying the station name, I thought, I'll just mimic that and see if they like it. And so I did, and it literally went, how did it go? Get the facts fast on 7 Report on 7 Sound Super Gold 774 AM, and that was it.
Wow!
And I thought,
I can't believe you remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm also an anorak. And I remember everything when it comes to radio. So, yeah, and that was the first time that I was ever asked by someone I didn't know. There are other ones where I can remember the first voiceover that I did for someone who I did know, who was Simon, who took me on at Radio HMV.
Right.
He got a gig on doing overnights on Invicta.
Uh-huh.
And so I did one for him. Simon West, tune it in and rip the knob off. And there I was in Helsham.
That's not dodgy at all.
No. There I was in Helsham listening to Invicta because their 103.1 signal was huge and covers down here in Sussex as well. And I recorded it. Oh my God, it's me on the radio. And then I did the same for him at Chiltern when he got some gigs at Chiltern as well. And went up to the radio station then to have a look around, and that was wonderful. So yes, that was when I first got asked.
Fantastic. Now, Rik, you have had some really crazy experiences in radio. I remember one day you and I were sitting talking, and you told me that you had quite literally taken a job as a radio presenter in a war zone. And I was like, what? Who does that? Go and tell us that story a little bit.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I wasn't too well at the time, and I ended up being offered a job in Lebanon, in Beirut. And to this day, I still look back and think, why did you do that?
Yeah. Because it makes a good story, maybe.
It does make a good story. What is it? 17 years on. But yeah, bonkers. I don't even, I don't like flying.
Yeah.
I had to take a flight. I think it was either Budapest or Bucharest. I can't remember which one. And then down to Lebanon.
Yeah.
So I had to change. I left everyone behind over here on my own. And I got there, and then the following morning I looked out of the bedroom, and it literally was like, it was awful. I thought, what have I done? What have I done?
You looked out the window and you saw...
Because they put me up in a hotel for one night.
The hotel that was actually still standing.
Yeah. Looked outside, and it was in a dreadful state, the city. And that particular part of the city anyway. Because actually it's got some really nice bits, and it's a lovely place. Just not when you're in that kind of headspace. Well,
and at that time, at that point in history, in just the middle of a really serious conflict.
Yeah, it wasn't good. And I started to cry, and I got into the radio station, and I said, "I'm sorry, I've really made a mistake here."
Yeah.
So they were dreadfully upset with me. But there was no way I could do it. Absolutely no way.
How long were you there for?
I was there for a week.
Right. Did you do any shows?
Had to treat it as a holiday.
Yeah.
I wanted to get out so fast.
Yeah. It's the only time in your life you were actually keen to get on an aeroplane.
Yeah, to get home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still look back now, as I say, and think, what was that about? Really? Then luckily when I got home, Paul Williams was the boss of the Media Sound Holding Stations, and said, we need someone to do Drive on Sovereign. I thought, yes, please. Doing a show in Eastbourne, much nicer than doing a show in Beirut.
Yes.
So, yes.
On average, as the kids would say, 6, 7.
Yeah, all right. Oh, is that what it means? I wasn't expecting that to come up in this conversation.
Well, if you've just joined us, welcome. This is Ashdown Radio. I'm Boo Prince. My guest in the studio today, a dear friend, brilliant colleague, is Rik Scott. And Rik, I know that you have, when I asked you what music you would like us to play on the show and what would be some of your choices, you were immediately sort of flummoxed. And as you said to me, it's crazy because you work with music, you listen to music all the time, but to actually sit down and nail a couple of tracks or favorite tracks is an almost impossible task.
Yeah.
So, but you have picked something from Depeche Mode that we're going to play in just a second. Tell me about this particular track.
Their stuff, right through the 80s, was just wonderful. It started off, obviously with the stuff that was co-written with Vince Clarke. Mm-hmm. And
I mean, what a talent! Vince Clarke.
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. So it was like the Just Can't Get Enough era.
Yeah,
all bouncy and happy, and All I Want to Do Is See You, and those sort of where they're all really young and smiling, and then you start getting to the real darker stuff like Blasphemous Rumours, and this particular track, which is really quite dark. But I saw recently a pianist who did a beautiful cover of this on YouTube, and I thought, gosh, I haven't heard that song in years, and it was just wonderful. And the video to this has real groundbreaking photography techniques where it looks like each individual member of the band is tumbling.
Oh, wow.
It's really clever, and it looks like they're tumbling to the ground, but they're not. I've no idea how they did it, but the song is Shake the Disease, and it is fantastic.
And here it is. Monday night on Ashdown Radio. Welcome to it. If you've just joined us, I'm Boo Prince, and we are really just having so much fun in the studio this evening. It's a new talk show. My first guest is my colleague and close friend, Rik Scott.
Because I was cheap.
You say that, but I actually didn't have to pay any of my other guests. So it actually turns out that you cost me more. Rik is an absolute radio legend. You all know his voice very, very well, and I'm sure many of you are big fans of the chart show that he does for us here on Ashdown Radio. But many of you may not actually realize what an incredibly rich and storied history Rik has in radio. And also the human being behind the beautiful velvety voice, because you are quite an unusual human being. For one. You are.
Am I?
You
Right,
are.
okay.
You're an astonishingly creative person. And this is another thing, and I know you are going to get all shy and embarrassed on me, but every time you ever mention the name Rik Scott to anybody who actually knows him or who has worked with him, the first thing they say is, what a fantastic human, what a lovely person, what a kind human being, and what a really, really good friend, aside from being deeply talented. And I have to say, I agree with all of those things. Oh. But one of the things which makes you such a lovely person is your really profound love for animals. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yes. Well, gosh, where do we start? So, I suppose we start at the beginning again. I loved and love my dad dearly. However, he was a butcher.
No one saw that coming.
So, and of course, you know, like any kid, you like to hang around with your dad. He's your hero and stuff. And so we didn't go to too many, but we ended up at a few slaughterhouses. And of course, popping in to see him in the shop and stuff. And I never really equated what he was selling and what, you know, and because he loved his dogs. Mm-hmm. We had lots of dogs growing up, and we had cats and stuff, you know, well, a cat. And but anyway, when I was at I started putting two and two together as I got older. One particular incident always stands out. I was tricked into eating rabbit when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. We have relatives in Northamptonshire who lived on a stud farm, mm-hmm. and one of them is involved in sort of hunting. And I was told it was chicken, and I found the shell case, well, not a bullet, some description was still in the.
Oh, like from a shotgun.
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
pellet
yeah,
or something.
pellets.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, yeah. And I thought, I didn't think you shot chickens, so yeah, that stood out. Then when I was at Southern, I decided to go vegetarian, mm-hmm. and poor old Dad was still working at the time, and he got absolutely riled by his.
So you had a conversation with your dad about it?
Not really. I just sort of thought this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah, and then next time you went round for Sunday lunch or something,
yeah,
it was kind of awkward.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, I made a mention of it on the radio,
and he heard.
Yeah. And
what did he say to you? Did he sort of see it as something a bit personal, or?
I don't think he did. I think he just thought it was a bit weird.
Oh, okay.
And of course, then you get the incidents where you know you're invited round for a barbecue,
right?
And he couldn't understand why my stuff had to be separated from everyone else who was eating meat.
Yeah.
Well, why does that matter if I pick up your vegetarian sausage, having picked up someone's meat sausage? You know?
Yeah.
So I had to explain it. And now I'm a vegan, and you know, went the full hog, you know, and pardon the expression. And I've never been so happy. Actually, I was carrying around a real kind of weight of, despite being vegetarian,
mm-hmm.
What I perceive as being the cruelty within the dairy industry,
mm-hmm.
Really weighed me down, and I thought, no, I can't carry on like this. It was really hurting me, and so I decided that was it. And so I think I'd worried about what other people, especially my wife who loves cooking, and she kind of felt that it was like, oh, I've got to cook 2 meals. No, I'll take it on myself. I'm quite happy. I'll do everything, just please respect my decision,
Yeah.
So yeah, and
How long have you been vegan now?
so it's only relatively recently, because as I say, being veggie was 30 years,
Right.
if you talk it up to today, and so vegan about 3 years now.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
relatively recently.
So what was the biggest change for you from vegetarianism to veganism? Was it the dairy thing? Yeah.
Cheese.
Cheese, grommet.
Everyone loves cheese.
Everyone loves cheese.
And there's no kind of... I'll tell you what else I really miss. Kebabs. Which
Okay.
are filthy, aren't they? Because
But-
you only
but
ever had
like-
them at 2 o'clock when you were rolling out of a club. They're ridiculous food. And therein lies the tale with Dad, who would never touch a kebab from a kebab shop.
Oh, really?
I know what goes in them, he said.
Right.
And so yeah, he would, and yet for me that meat tasted, and that's the thing, I think, because it's not that I don't want to. Sorry, it's not that I don't like the taste.
Right.
Of cheddar, of any cheese, of any meat, burgers. God, they're lovely. But I won't do it.
It's the psychological aspect for you that feels the worst.
Yeah.
That's really what you're saying.
It's the innocence of animals,
Right.
and I see that in my in my dogs, obviously.
Yeah.
And I just don't think they deserve it.
And maybe that's the thing, because, I mean, obviously we're here at the beginning of the year. A lot of people will have made New Year's resolutions about what
Veganuary is
their
going on, yeah.
Veganuary,
Yeah,
etc.,
yeah.
etc. I mean, that's a new one to me, to be honest. I don't bother with New Year's resolutions because I just look in the mirror and go, "Who are we kidding?" But for a lot of people, obviously, it is a time in the year when they set a different sort of intention for themselves.
Yeah.
And perhaps there's something to really take away from what you're saying, that it is not necessarily about, losing weight or necessarily cutting out fat or whatever, but that for you it felt like a psychological and a moral load. Perhaps.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Definitely. And I there are things that have gone through my life that have always been there. The love of radio, the love of Spurs and football generally, and this thing that I have for animals, and that's. And now I just wish I'd done it sooner.
Are there any animals that you don't like?
No, because I had a pet tarantula once.
Oh, but they can be so cute.
Yeah.
Like really hairy, and I mean, I would love a tarantula.
Yeah.
You even get these kind of giant. They're like palm cockroaches, and even those are cute.
Oh wow!
But I can't say I've ever seen a cute mosquito.
No. There are some that you just think, yeah. Oh, okay, you're meant to be here. Clearly, you're fulfilling some role, but I'm not quite sure which.
Okay, so on the subject of footy, do you play at all?
No.
Not at all.
No.
So what do you think that love is? Is it kind of more about a sense of belonging and camaraderie and whatever? It's not.
Well, there's a few.
It's not
I mean,
participatory for you.
Yeah. Ryan, who's the program controller here at Ashdown, he's a fellow Spurs fan, and there's a couple of others that I know. But I've just always loved the game. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether you had it in South Africa, but we had Panini football sticker albums over here.
No.
And so you'd spend your pocket money on these little packs of stickers, and you fill up the album every year. And that's really how I got into it, because you wanted to complete the album, and as well as the players, you'd have a special gold crest of each club's logo. And that was the gold sticker, and the manager would be in there as well, and it'd have all the facts about the.
That's how they get them young, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they're still going now, but yeah, I adored those. And then I was very lucky enough. One of my primary school teachers was a season ticket holder at the Goldstone Ground, supporting Brighton, and Brighton were playing Spurs, and they said, "Oh, you know, check with my mum and dad," and my dad knew them anyway, and she and her husband took me over to the Goldstone Ground to watch Brighton and Spurs. So and that's where I fell in love with Tottenham. So yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know, when you talk about the love of the footy cards and the stickers and whatever, and a mutual love of cheese, because I'm definitely a cheerophile. I'll tell you what it was for little girls when I was growing up in the sticker world, because it certainly wasn't football. There were those scratch and sniff stickers.
Oh yeah.
And I very clearly remember having a scratch and sniff cheese sticker, which in retrospect seems like incredibly bad taste.
Yeah, doesn't it just? Given the state of some cheeses, that was good grief. The smell. They obviously didn't want repeat customers.
No, clearly. Anyway, getting into sticker albums. Rik, it's been so amazing talking to you. It's so wonderful to actually scratch the surface, not of a
and sniff it,
not of a sniffy sticker, but scratch the surface of your life story a little bit, and hear a little bit about your history and your life.
Thank you.
And I just think it's a lovely opportunity. You know, we get to hear so much of your incredible and creative work, and people don't get the opportunity, for the most part, to actually learn much about the man behind this beautiful voice.
Because they run in the opposite direction.
Holding their precious bratwurst.
That's right.
But I've loved it. It's been just so wonderful spending time with you. And I believe you've got another song.
Yes, it's a
for
quiet
us.
one, this one.
Oh, is it?
Yes. So, I have never been... I've been to lots of concerts, lots of music events and stuff, but I have never been to such a loud concert as seeing Lemmy and Motorhead. Mm-hmm. This was at the White Rock, actually, so it was a really small venue, and I went... This was while I was at Southern, and I think, from memory, Danny Pike... Simon Barker-Davis, aka Moody. I think Dan Gasser was there as well. I'd have to check with him on that. But we went to see Motorhead. I've never sat through a gig before where I've had to put my fingers in my ears for the entire time to actually hear the music. And there was a guy with his head in the bass bin.
Oh my God.
Just incredible. And I've always loved this track. We haven't got Overkill, that's my favourite, but this will do. And Lemmy, despite me, I'm actually quite a straight person in that I conform, although I've obviously got these sort of different views with regard to being vegan and stuff, but Motorhead, Lemmy in particular, was just completely opposite to that. He put a big finger up to absolutely everything, and
there was a little part of you that liked that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And I collect gnomes, and I have a Lemmy gnome, which does exactly that. So it can't be seen by too many people.
Well, here it is.
Yeah. Ace of spades. Go on, Boo,
Come
play
on.
it. Play it loud.